What do you do when you have a small, tiny, definitely not extreme Full Metal Alchemist obsession and you want to make automail but you only have EVA foam and silver paint? I'm going to show you. Now, have I made automail before? No. Have I made armor before? Yes. So let's give this a shot. The good thing about making automail compared to standard armor is that you only really have to make one side. I'm making the cosplay for Lanfan, but you can also use this tutorial to make Ed's automail, which follows a similar structure. To make a pattern for your proportions, wrap your arm with saran wrap and paper tape. Then draw out the design, flatten it, and use that as a template to trace the shape onto EVA foam. To make the forearm something that you can take off and put on easily, you can add a zipper. I sew the zipper onto a piece of sturdy non-stretch fabric like denim or leather, and that'll increase the surface area of both sides so there's more space for you to glue it down onto the foam. For your fingers, I recommend tapering the ends of rectangles so that the tapered side comes to a close in the center of each finger. This enables good mobility so you can curl them up, whereas if you use a cylindrical shape, then unfortunately you won't be able to bend your fingers. Lanfan also wears a piece of armor on her shoulder, and to attach armor like that, I like to use a combination of elastic straps and Velcro. The Velcro prevents any sliding up and down or shifting left and right, while the elastic strap keeps it attached very firmly onto your arm. So you can sew Velcro onto very thin EVA foam, and then sew the straps onto sturdy fabric, both of which can just be glued right onto the inner side of the foam armor. The automail is now constructed, so it's now time for heat sealing and priming. After heating it with a heat gun to close the pores, you could totally skip Mod Podge and jump right into 5 layers of Plastidip, but since I'm Canadian and Plastidip is expensive, I like to do 3 layers of Mod Podge first by hand, by brush, and then priming it with 3 coats of sprayed-on Plastidip. When using Plastidip, make sure that it's room temperature and you're spraying some blanks upside down to clear the nozzle, and then using a very slow sweep to give your armor a heavy wet coat without any drips. For color, any silver does work. I use Rust-Oleum Bright Chrome, but I've heard good things about Montana Gold, so I'm gonna try that one next time. Once you are happy with the shine, it's time to add some black paint to make it look less robotic. Even though it does look nice and clean, I do think the Holy Silver design doesn't really work for armor because it does need darker accents to emphasize any edges and designs. You could do this with oil paints and a large fluffy brush to smudge out the edges, or if you have an airbrush, you could go the quicker method, which is arguably less precise by spraying things on with an airbrush. Next, I use the Tamiya weathering palette to add streaks of white onto the black along all the edges. That makes the dark areas pop. So if you want something to pop, you're gonna add dark outlines to a light colored item, or the opposite, in this case, silvery accents on the darker foam edges. And finally, I glue on some small details like wire, little plastic dials, and on the day of, I wrap some straps around my forearm piece and the glove armor to blend everything together, and surprisingly, I had very decent mobility with my elbow, wrist, and shoulders. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful.